Hi, hello everyone. It's so good to be here. All right, so let's get started. We are here to discuss the behind the scene of what goes on in an agency, especially FourthCanvas, an agency like FourthCanvas. And with me, I have Bolaji with me. Bolaji is our chief operating officer. Bolaji is the person. It doesn't say much, but when it talks, the four walls of FourthCanvas will tremble. So Bolaji is the person you go to when you want to build FourthCanvas. Just go to Bolaji. So we have with me we have Mary. Mary is our creative director, a partner at FourthCanvas. Mary is the brain behind what you see on our website. Mary is the queen of accountability. The queen of. Yeah, we have Remy. Remy is the people operations lead. The incredible work you see, she's the one behind it, ensuring that we give globally recognized and high class work. So Oluremi is the one behind it. So we're going to start with. So what did you say?
You too.
Okay, she said nice to meet you too. So we're going to start with discussing just the way bloggers do a day in the life of, as a COO, a day in the life as a creative director. So we're going to be doing ours like a month in the life as a COO, as a creative director, as a people operations lead. So I would want them to, give you a deep dive into their day-to-day activity at FourthCanvas so that you would have a better understanding of how we work as an agency before we proceed. I'll start with Bolaji. So Bolaji, give us a month in your life as the chief operating officer and a partner at FourthCanvas. So what's your day-to-day activity like in a month?
Okay, thank you. Good day, everybody. So talking about a month in my life I have to say a minute or two, right? Okay, so let me compress that. What's a month in my life? I think I will probably want to start with what a day looks like in my life, and hopefully I can paint a picture of what a month looks like. I think my role is one of the roles where people kind of like ask, okay, so what does that mean? Like in a design agency, aren't we all supposed to be designers? Actually, truly, we all are. Right. Just a minute or so ago, a roll-up banner was being placed there, and Oluremi, our people operations lead, was trying to check the alignment, right? And we're like, it's just like there are certain institutions that you are a part of, and then you really just need to understand the nitty-gritty of sort of like how it works, right? It's like you're a medical doctor in the army. If I put a gun in your hands, like you clearly know how to do magic with it, right? So yes, what's a day like for me? All of that is Mary's business, right? So to a large extent, I like to say I make business work, right? It's one thing to be a creative. It's one thing to be passionate about what you do, love what you do, and all of that. But the truth is, in one way or the other, even as individuals, there's a business side to us, right? It's what keeps our economic engine running as an individual, right? It's part of why you sort of like want to negotiate a good deal in your office, right? Or even in your freelance gigs, right? So there's always that part. I mean, it's what sustains you. So let's bring that into a business, right? There is a whole lot of passion, a whole lot of energy. You want to do great stuff. But we need to keep this engine running. We need to make this business work.
Yes.
Right? So a business is sort of like a vehicle, right? That comprises of so many components. How do we make all of that move, right? How do we make all these things work together to move and provide the level of comfort that we need, right? I would like to say that that's sort of like what operations is, right? From from collaborating with the amazing Remy, which it's a privilege to be working with her though. Yeah. In terms of recruitment and people operations to compliance, right? A lot of times we really don't understand, because we're not in finance, you feel like, oh, you're not really regulated and all. But yeah, there are certain things you don't cross, right? Helping to ensure that we are in clear alignment with the right standards nationally and globally, right, for all of our clients, right? To a large extent, while we sort of like have lawyers and all of that, I still personally vet almost all contracts, all agreements, right? Because I found out over the years, it's been over a decade, right, that to a large extent, right, while we have lawyers who are specialists, right, sometimes there's some context that is missing in that they just need someone to help with, who understands that context, right, and who is a little familiar with some laws that guide our industry, right? So like I collaborate with lawyers as well, finance, and all of those things. So I don't work with all of them every day, but I basically focus on who needs a lot of assistance the most. So like I am almost like a generalist. If you're in operations, you're almost a generalist, really, right? I've designed before. I've been pushed to designing before, right? But
Bolaji.
yeah.
But which design did you do? Which design is that? Where was that?
No, I'm not going to.
Okay, so Bolaji, you mentioned something. You said that you are the engine that makes the business move, right? And yeah, so I want to ask, because there was an incident that happened way back in Akure when we were working like full-time in Futa, and where the laptops were boggled. So how were you able to bring, like, being the chief operating officer, how were you able to like put the team together,
navigate that
after
right?
the bug, after it was boggled and all laptops removed from the office? How were you able to like bring people together and ensure that they perform their very best and ensure the business also move as like nothing happened? So how were you able to handle that?
Thank you, Ama. Yeah, so I think one interesting thing with business, as in life as well, is you really can't, the best you can do is foresee as much as you can, right, based on your experience. But there are certain things that would happen that are outside of that, right? But you need to be able to adapt, right? And I would say it was an interesting period, right, because we never could have seen that coming, right? And that period actually marked a new evolution in our growth, right? Not a single client knew. We were under intense pressure at that time. So you can imagine working on something, on certain projects that were very intense, and then your laptop is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So we basically had to, thank God that a lot of things were already online. Right. There were certain things that were not really online. Figma was not yet popular then. Not that popular then. We're talking about probably 2016 or so.
Yeah,
for some of us.
2015.
Yeah, 2015, 2016. Right. So there were certain files that you would have to recreate very quickly. Right. Beautiful thing is, whatever you have not sent, you can find your way around it, right? But whatever you've sent, right, okay, I just have to recreate this and implement certain feedback, right? We got that period. We brought in a new set of people who joined the team as well, who basically came into it the ground running, right? So to a large extent, I would say the risks it was a huge risk, but thank God thank God for internet, really.
Yeah, and that was when OG joined the team, right?
Yes, that was when Tunji joined the team. Yes, and when I say that was a new face for the business, right? That was the time Tunji joined the team. Okay. Shortly after that, Mary herself joined the team as well.
Oh, awesome.
Right? And
awesome.
FourthCanvas is what it is today, largely. I can't complete it without mentioning that.
Okay.
Without mentioning Mary and
Thank you.
Tunji. Yeah.
I set a timer so we can keep to time. We have 40 minutes and So yeah, I would go to Mary. Mary, share a month in your life as the creative director and partner at FourthCanvas.
Hi everyone. It seems like everyone is just really chilled and all. But I will share and hope that everyone is listening. Yeah, I'm seeing more faces now. So, a month in my life looks like so many activities at the same time. So, most of the times, there are like a range of activities that would span throughout the month. Some are like, we can cut it into a week or a day, but it's in summary, it feels like thinking about, so there is the client's work, the goal that you've agreed with your clients to meet up with. There is the client, there is the work that needs to be done, and the talent. So that feels like the whole thing that my world would revolve around. So think about, are we on time? Is everyone that is meant to be doing something, are they doing it when they have to, when they should? And if they are not, how do we cover up for gaps? Does the client understand what we are doing together? Because again, what I've come to find out over the years is that the faster you can get your client to be on the same page with you, the better it is for you. So there's a lot of work that goes into that. And I think that we can always get to that kind of, that area. But a month in a life looks like clients, talent, and we're bouncing through everything in between. So we have to get on calls with the guys that are on my team. So, or someone is not doing what they should be doing, and I'm calling, what's up? What's the problem? How do we fix this? And then we're getting into, oh, okay, these are the things that we need to share with our clients today. Or these are the things that we need to share with our clients next tomorrow. How are we doing on them? Or, oh, there's a gap now. We need to hire someone else. We need these skill sets to be able to get this done. So it's just basically trying to partner with our clients to do our best work and ensure that everyone on this end is fine. So the client is great, the talent is great. That looks like.
So Mary, yeah, that's awesome. I see you as someone that, you have like dual personality. You are a creative and also a leader. And looking at the crowd, I know a lot of creative here would one day become leaders, or if not, already leaders. How are you able to balance being a leader? Because being a creative, you have to be, you have to be spontaneous at times. You have to be maybe disorganized, just to get that creative juice, going. And, but you are able to like create this structure and process. How are you able to balance being a creative and being a leader in order to like, being a leader means you're able to put structures in place, you're able to communicate, you are well organized, you have processes and everything. But how are you able to balance both sides of you, being a creative and being a leader at FourthCanvas?
Okay. That's a solid question. So, in my head, I don't think about it like balance. Yeah, because I think about it like what needs to be done to hit our goals. We have things to do. So, the client, there's the sales call and all of that. There are the things that we promised our clients that we will do. And they agreed that we should do it with them. There is, now when that is done and onboarding, like the sales team has moved on, then there's the work itself. So it's like, on some days, I'm really not even going to design anything at all. Or like, I think there was a period last year that I just really realized that I wasn't designing like that, but work was getting done. There are times that we would have that. But then there are times that I'm not sleeping because I am actually working. Either that, there is something that we are trying to get and there's a gap, a tiny gap that I want to quickly fill, or I just see that we have to get this done. We need more hands to get things done. So the thinking is that it's not oh, I want to show off. Or it's not, oh, I have to be the leader right now. It's that, what do we need to get done? How do we get it done? What is required? So if it's required that I do not have to be an illustrator at all at FourthCanvas. But if it happens that I have to, maybe I would. It's just what it is. So, but then again, it doesn't mean that there are not people that can get things done. It just means that once in a while, you get to move between the two. So it's, in my head, it's not a balance. It's just that, what do we need to get done? Basically, yeah.
All right, awesome. So I just want to know, there was a time we were working on a project last year. Some designers fell ill. Clients, like they were back and forth, like there were lots of back and forth with the clients. And, it wasn't like going smoothly as, you would expect, the expectations and all. But you were able to somehow manage it. How were you able to manage that situation at that point where I remember seeing you do some sketches here and there. You really assisted with that and all. But how were you able to get people, get them to work? And because we had to, that period was like, it wasn't just working. It wasn't working at that period. You were able to get them together. That was Nigerian Breweries project, just to give you better context. You remember? You were able to somehow get the team together. Felix was involved, OG, but I were able to maneuver it, and at the end of the day, we were able to deliver our best. Like the clients loved the options we presented. I were able to handle that situation. We were trying to meet deadline. Designers fell ill. It was just not going the way we wanted. How were you able to manage it last year?
Okay, so one thing that I remember, or that I think I should start from, is that when we started at early days FourthCanvas, there really wasn't structure like that. We had some things clearly defined, but we were figuring out how to create structure from everything that we were going through. So with one new project, we're learning this is how to do this better next time. This is how not to do this. So there is a high probability that you're facing something right now that you just need to refine something on. So on that project, like as on many projects, deadlines are always tight. There's almost never enough time. That's the first thing. And when there's that, the first thing that happens in the minds of the people that are creating, the designers and the people that are drawing and all of that, animating, whatever they are doing, the first thing on their mind is pressure. So as they are under pressure, then it makes it harder for them to deliver on time. So one of the things that we saw, by the time that we saw that this project wasn't going the way we wanted it, or we thought that it would, first, it was the first kind of project that we would have like that. So it was even a learning curve for us. So at the same time, we had to be learning a few things and putting things in place. And then one of the things that we did was first, okay, we've had enough back and forths. Let's regroup. So we took some drastic steps. And that's what I think, when you've worked with a process so much and it needs to be rejigged a little, I think that's one of the things that you can do, right? Take a drastic step. So I don't know if I should go into the drastic step, but it involved spending some good money to take care of people first, to bring them into a unique situation that is very extremely comfortable, where most of the things that they are worried about are sorted out. That's outside their whatever they are earning on the project, right? Bring them into a more comfortable space, give them more tools to work with, basically furnish them with more than enough.
Exactly.
So that they can.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point that as a project director, I was sorting out food for people so that they can focus on the work.
Maybe.
But yeah, I would say that the way to solve stuff like that is to rejig your process, rethink, and see how
basically,
that fares. Yeah.
just be flexible with your process.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, yeah. All right, thank you very much. Remy, you've been so quiet. So I would want you to like give us a run through on a month in your life as the people operations lead at FourthCanvas. What do you do in a month so people can have better insight?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I think the first thing I would say is this before I go into what my month is like, is that you don't stumble upon the type of talents we have at FourthCanvas. So before I say anything, please, I would need you to indulge me and just clap for every talent at FourthCanvas. Please, indulge me, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to go back to where I started from. You don't stumble upon the kind of talent we have at FourthCanvas. You don't stumble upon a Maria Folabi, a Tsunji Ogunye, an Okwe Olugbemiro. Those are not people you just find lying everywhere or anywhere. Those are the kind of talents that you deal with intentionality. So for my process and what work is like for me, I think the back end of my work will be first, managing employee engagements, employee performance, and ensuring that these are the kind of talents you get to interface with, first as a client and as a lover of what we do at FourthCanvas. So you look at a Mary, you look at a Tunji, you look at an Okwe, you look at AJ, who else am I missing out? Felix, Praise, you look at these people, Ama, and then what you see is them. So my work is to ensure that this is what clients are interfacing with, that we have stellar talent, giving global performance. That's one. Another thing we get to do on the back end monthly, outside of general payroll systems, employee performance management. So usually we get to work, but then there is a whole lot that happens at the back for people to deliver on what they need to deliver on. Not just individual delivering now. What's in line with the business goals, in line with our company culture. And that thing that happens for us behind the scene at the people operations team is processes, a constant review of our processes. Mary said something that they hit a rock at some point and they needed to like shake themselves out of it. One thing about creatives is this: creatives always like to think outside of the box. So first things first, let there be a box. Our processes exist, the structures exist, the box is there. And as much as everyone is moving and creating outside of the box, we love the chaos. But then we are also documenting this chaos because it could be useful to us. All of the thought process outside of this box can expand the box in future. Yeah,
so
thank you.
We are really like we are watching time. So Remy, you didn't mention when you cooked coconut rice for us. Was that part of the back end? Like, why? Yeah, like you didn't mention that one. Why?
Wow.
So Remy, I have an observation and also a question, because when I joined FourthCanvas, I noticed we have this culture of retaining talents. Even when they work somewhere else, they still get into, like, they're still part of our community. They're still forced. They don't leave FourthCanvas. How are we able to achieve that? Because people don't leave FourthCanvas. I don't see people that leave. Even those in Canada, UK, they don't leave. They are always in the community. We are vibing. Everybody's there. Like, how are we able to achieve that?
So I think when you have a system that pours into you, that is so concerned about your growth, that has brought you from point A to point B, there's a certain kind of attachment that we don't. FourthCanvas does not necessarily say you have to stay with us.
No.
People
But
really
they always stay.
just stay. And here is it for FourthCanvas, for every talent. We're not just looking at what you can do for us or what we can get from you. For every conversation with Bolaji right here, it is how can an Ama become a praise? How can a Felix become a Tunji Ogunye? And we are working back end from getting courses for people to getting in-house trainings. We have education systems every year for all of our talents to bring them from whatever level they're at to the next level. So I think it's just normal to not want to detach from such a system or process. Yeah.
All right, we'll be ending very soon. Sorry. I wish we can continue this conversation. We have a couple of questions here, but before we go to the questions, I want to ask maybe what advice would you give creatives like you, those looking to build an agency? What advice would you give them? In terms of leadership, in terms of creativity, what advice would you give our audience in front?
So I'm sorry, but you cannot build a FourthCanvas. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And what I mean is that, like Remy has shared, what?
So you end up building your own.
Yeah, that's the thing. So first, you cannot build a FourthCanvas because you will end up building your own, right? That's one. Then two, whatever you see on about FourthCanvas is way beyond, it's deeper than all of us that are here, and it's really deep and rich. So I remember this question that you asked. We asked, I think it was like 7 years ago that we asked you and Victor, and we asked, how did you build this? How did you start thinking about this? And they said, it was early stages, so they were intentional about the kind of thing that they wanted to build. They were clear about the vision. So if you want to build something that is this good, or that is for you, then the first things that you want to do is to be clear. Where are we going with this? That's the first thing. Then what kind of people do we need to build this thing with? And what are the things that we need to do to build this thing? So no work is too hard. If it's going to take a course, like she said, if it's going to take you exploring something that you've never done before, if it's going to take you supporting someone that is doing that, because at some point, even till now, sometimes we still take projects outside of FourthCanvas and we get the support from the team.
Yeah.
So you can think of, so you can think of building something that you also think about it, that if you were working under these people, how do you want to be treated? So basically, the explanation is empathy and intentional work with people. That's the best way that I can respond to
so
this.
we have thank you very much for that, Mary. We have some questions here and I'll read them out. This question is, how do you go from being a single designer to convincing clients that you run an agency that can undo all they need?
Me.
So
is it me? I'm just
you and
sorry.
Bolaji, either any one of you that can answer it. So how do you go from being a single designer and convincing clients that you run an agency and you have all they need?
I think Bolaji should answer, and this is why. Because Bolaji and Victor started the agency,
FourthCanvas, yes.
and they started from that point where you're like, I'm a single designer and I have a friend that wants me to make it. Right? That thinks that, you're not going to make it if I don't help this guy or something. Or this guy can do way better than this. So yeah, Bolaji.
Okay, thank you for that question, Amma. I think an agency is really just a thing, right? It's not about building an agency. It's about the outcome, right? At a very early stage, I tell people something. There are so many things you don't really need to bother yourself about at the very earliest stages, right? The most important thing at the early stage is do business, right? Do business. Now, talking to clients and then trying to position as an agency, right? Don't try too hard to convince a client that you have other people with you. The most important thing is just do what needs to be done with your team, right? There are certain outputs that the client sees and they know that definitely there was so much that went into this, right? Your agency is not about the numbers, right? When we started, truly, I'll tell you this. When we started at the most early stages, there were many times when Victor was literally fronting, right? There were some projects we actually got because they thought he was the one working on it, right? So like there's really, don't stress yourself with trying to convince a client that you are an agency or that you have people with you, right? Position your brand. Get the works you need to get done. Manage your clients well, manage your team well, right? And these days, I mean, there are emails. You most likely communicate through emails and all of that. By the time they are seeing other people copied in conversations right from the point of sales when you are trying to get the project, there is no point trying to convince anybody that, oh, there are so many other people with me. I mean, the emails are there. You can see so many people are in the conversation, right? And they are not just in the conversation listening, but they are engaging as well, right? So, like, don't stress yourself over the things that do not matter. Just focus on the things that really matter. The client is coming to you not because you are an agency, because he believes you can solve a problem, right? So focus on solving that problem. Let your team, right, move with you. They will clearly see it, right? Anytime you call Spartans, what happens behind? They are answering, right? So
Sure.
that's really
Yeah,
my
so
answer.
Bolaji,
Yeah.
the thing is, some clients want to see, maybe they want to know if you have a website, they want to know if you have, like, you have maybe an office, that kind of thing. So I think people focus on those mundane, those things they are very important, right? But people want to like pay more attention to them than the actual work. So what you are saying is they should do great work first before all of those things will come in later.
Yeah,
right?
I'll add this, right? There are
Yeah.
certain clients that at some levels, there's nothing you can do about it. There are some clients that will just not work with you. Even if you try to show all the bravado and everything, right? One thing is, as you keep growing, right, you keep getting into different spaces. At the time when we started the agency, there were lots of clients that we have worked with today who basically came knocking on our door. Some we've never done any project within their space. There was no portfolio to show that we have done something like this before. You know how you want to work with a payment company and they ask you, have you done anything in payments before? What are the other banks you've worked with or whatever? They knew clearly we have not done anything like that, right? But they still came knocking, right? So it took a while for us to build that reputation. Some people need to see track record. And you need to take your time to build that track record before they will be able to allow you in, right? So, but just be calm. It's a process, right? It will be a lot shorter for you than it was for us, right? And that's my prayer, right? But the thing is, just focus on exactly what matters. You can't get a client right now, you'll get him tomorrow, right? There was a client that wanted to meet with us, and I said, we're in Ibadan, right? And the client went elsewhere. I wasn't bothered. Right? But today, there are people who are bigger than that client now who come begging. Right? There are times when we're like, we can't really work on anything. We can't take any additional project right now. They're like, we'll wait. Do you get it? But it took it took time.
Yes. So just to close this, Mary said something that you cannot build a FourthCanvas. But then you can join FourthCanvas if you would like to be a part of it. Thank you.